Most people believe the most dangerous moment of a shipwreck is the sinking itself, the tearing metal, the freezing water, the chaos. But maritime history tells a very different story, because many survivors make it through the first night. They escape the ship, they find the raft, they cling to debris, they are alive when the sun rises. And then, the second night comes. And that is when the ocean begins to claim them. Not always with waves, not always with predators, but with something far quieter, something far more predictable. The slow collapse of the human mind. Part 1. The lie. People believe we grow up believing rescue is fast, that distress calls are answered immediately, that ships change course, that helicopters appear on the horizon. But the open ocean is not a city. It is not organized. It is not merciful. Even in heavily traveled waters, a life raft can drift dozens of miles in a single day. Currents do not care about search grids. Wind does not care about survival. And once night falls, visibility disappears completely. From the air, a person in the water is nearly invisible. From another vessel, a raft can vanish between waves just a few feet high. The survivors begin the first night with adrenaline still protecting them. Shock is a powerful anesthetic. It keeps panic away. It keeps hope alive. But shock has an expiration date, and by the time the second night approaches, reality has begun to set in. Part 2. When hope develops a crack. The first sunrise brings relief. People scan the horizon expecting rescue. Every distant shape becomes a ship. Every sound becomes an aircraft. But hours pass. Nothing arrives. By afternoon, the questions begin. Did anyone receive the distress call? Does anyone know we're missing? Are they even looking in the right place? Hope doesn't disappear all at once. It fractures slowly, like glass under pressure. Leadership often collapses first. On land, structure is everywhere: roads, buildings, authority. At sea, hierarchy dissolves quickly. The loudest voice is not always the calmest. The calmest is not always the strongest. And fear spreads faster than water. Small disagreements emerge. Should they paddle, stay put, ration supplies, drink now or later? Every decision suddenly feels like life or death. Because it is. Part 3. The body keeps score. By the second day, the human body is already under attack. Dehydration begins long before thirst becomes unbearable. Salt dries the skin until it cracks. Lips split. Tongues swell. If survivors are in the water, heat drains from the body up to 25 times faster than in air. Even warm oceans steal warmth relentlessly. Hypothermia is not reserved for icy seas. Exhaustion deepens, muscles tremble, simple movements require effort, and then comes one of the ocean's cruelest illusions: thirst. Surrounded by endless water, yet unable to drink. Some survivors, driven beyond reason, give in. They swallow seawater. At first it seems to help. Then confusion accelerates. Hallucinations creep in. Organs begin to fail. The ocean doesn't need to be violent to be deadly. It only needs time. Part 4. Why Night 2 is different. Darkness at sea is absolute. There are no streetlights, no distant glow, no horizon. Just black water beneath a black sky. Depth perception vanishes. Balance falters. Every sound feels amplified. Waves slap against the raft like footsteps. Something brushes a leg, and imagination does the rest. But the greatest threat is not what surrounds the survivors. It is what happens inside them. Because by night 2, the brain begins recalculating the odds. Rescue now feels uncertain. Morning feels far away. And the terrifying thought emerges: what if no one is coming tonight? Panic rarely explodes. More often, it leaks in quietly. Someone begins crying. Another grows silent. One stares endlessly into the dark. And sometimes, someone slips into the water without a sound. Whether it was a fall, a choice, or surrender, is rarely known. Part 5. The moment survivors never forget. Ask maritime survivors what they remember most, and many will describe the same realization. It isn't the sinking, it isn't the storm. It's the moment they understood. They were completely alone. No engines, no voices, no rescue lights, just the endless movement of the sea. Time distorts. Minutes feel like hours. Hours feel infinite. The mind searches desperately for certainty and finds none. This is the psychological cliff, the point where survival stops being physical and becomes mental, because the ocean is patient. It does not need to rush. Fatigue will grow, morale will weaken, hope will thin, and the second night stretches on. Part 6. The Invisible Divide. Some survivors cross an invisible line. On one side are those who begin to surrender. They stop speaking, stop scanning the horizon, stop fighting. On the other side are the ones who make a decision, not a loud one, not a dramatic one, just a quiet refusal. They focus on the next sunrise, the next hour, the next breath. Survival shrinks into smaller and smaller victories. Stay awake, stay aboard, stay together. History shows something remarkable. The people who live are not always the strongest, not always the most experienced. Often, they are simply the ones who decide, consciously or not, that the story is not over yet. Part 7. When morning finally returns. When dawn breaks after the second night, those still alive have already won a battle few ever see, because mentally, they have endured the ocean at its most isolating. And with daylight comes something powerful. Perspective. The brain stabilizes. Fear loosens its grip. Decisions improve. Energy, however small, returns. Many rescues happen after this point, but not because the ocean became kinder, because the survivors did not disappear before help arrived. The sea has never needed monsters to be feared. It does not hunt. It does not choose. It simply waits. And for countless shipwreck victims throughout history, the deadliest moment was never the sinking. It was the second night, when exhaustion deepened, when hope flickered, when the mind whispered dangerous thoughts. Yet those who understand this reality gain something important: respect for the ocean, and respect for the human will to survive it. Because surviving the shipwreck was only the beginning. If you made it this far, you already understand something most people never consider. Out there, strength is not measured in muscle, but in the decision to last one more night.